tradition at the Hawick Burn Supper, the head boy is tasked to give the toast to the wonderful lassies of Hawick High School. Well, I say burn supper, however, with big quotation marks. We are a week late, and it was agreed just to be a Scots night. But no, Jessica wanted a burn supper, and what Jessica wants, Jessica gets. So blame her if all this goes to pot. Also, you can blame her for the price of the tickets, right? I thought, the same as you lot, that this night was just going to be a cheap, fun night. But no, someone had to go and invite 90 other folk. Brilliant you're here, but I mean, come on. Anyways, I was also told that speakers got to get in for free, but no, I had to pay as well. Chopper got in for free. All he did was sing. You can even call it that. Like, I mean, come on. Again, great you're here. Like, cheers for coming. Anyways, run over. Now it's time to actually get to the toast of the lassies and talk about their ups and downs inside and outside of school. I'd like to start off, if I may, with the three lassies sitting up front with me. You may know them as the head team, but I like to call them Jessica's sidekicks. Now, there wasn't much of a choice when it came to who was speaking tonight. Jessica was speaking right reasonable man, and so it was either between me or the two NPCs sitting over there. I get no say in the matter, so I was kind of just dumped with the role, really. It's their mistake, I guess. Anyways, coming from personal experience within the head team, Jessica really does like to take charge. Ask Miss Scott, who I'm sure will tell you that tonight was going to be Jessica's plan, and Jessica's plan, or no plan at all. I'm not saying she's bossy, but may God have mercy on your soul if you give your opinion. Honestly, it's like working for a dictator. Moving on to Emily. Now, at the start of the year, tragedy did strike for Emily, as she broke up with her very serious boyfriend, Fergus Bell. You might know him as Dinger's boy. But, I mean, come on, we're all thinking the same thing. It was secretly a good thing. I mean, how low do your standards have to be to go out with Emily? Lastly, we get to Zoe. But due to the restrictions I was given to by Miss Scott, and because her mum's sitting there now, I don't really have much to say about her. I mean, that's mainly because I can't bring up her antics she gets to at the weekends, or at work, or at Jed High School that one. Overall, I can't really complain. I mean, 3 boys, 3 girls, 1 boy. The only thing I do complain about is that I've got to drive them anywhere, because who would trust them lot behind the wheel of a car? Now we move on to the other girls of the year. This year, we've seen a lot of them getting their driver's license. To ask is how, to be honest. Not everyone passed first try, however, as I'm sure Ruthie will tell you. It's not that easy, is it, Ruthie? Ruthie and driving don't really go hand in hand. I'm not saying she's a bad driver, but she really does lean into the stereotype of women being shit drivers. Especially with her parking. At this point, I'm surprised she doesn't kill them. Speaking of driving though, Danica has barely gotten out of her car since passing. I've been told the state of her car is just awful, and if you saw the state of it, you'd think too. Honestly, it's kind of like her fashion sense tonight. Absolutely awful. Moving on to Puffy, who also passed her test recently. Again, I'm pretty sure they're just letting anyone pass at this point. From the stories I've been told, the first time she took out her car, you were taking your own life into your own hands. That night was told to be a disaster, and tonight was nearly a memorial service for Puffy's car crash victim. Pulling away from driving, I'd like to go and talk about Carly Gray. Most of you teachers probably don't even remember who Carly is. I mean, honestly, I don't really blame you. Carly's barely in school these days, and at this point, I can't tell the difference between Carly Gray and Bailey McLean. Not just because they look so similar, it's the facial hair, okay, but also because she skies more classes than she's in. Moving on to Grace. In S2, she dyed her hair from ginger to black. This was for many reasons. Firstly, because let's be honest, who wants to be ginger? Again, no offense, Chopper. Secondly, so she didn't look like a rejected Weasley sibling. And lastly, so when she eventually got with Rhys Thomas, they didn't look like brother and sister. Now, I was going to talk about the dance, but I don't really have much to say. Again, due to the rules given to me by Miss Scott. So I'm probably just going to skip past it. That's a good thing for Miss Scott, as she doesn't want me to talk about her dodgy fashion choices that night. I mean, I'm pretty sure she's the reason why Logan was spewing that night. Speaking of Christmas though, I'm sure all you lassies got some lovely gifts. Jewellery, makeup, that I'm sure you have no doubt that you're all wearing tonight. Well, all of you except Georgie. I mean, with a nickname like Stinky, do I really have to say more? And honestly, I think it's quite cool that you've got a nickname like Stinky. I mean, you've got a list. Oh, you can't even say it yourself. Anyway, now Mary Amos couldn't be here tonight as she has tonsillitis. But I spent ages with this speech, so I'm to saying it anyways. It'd have been good to see Mary here tonight, and it'd have been good to see her with a smile on her face. I'm not the only one who was worried that she'd been diagnosed with permanent bitch face on her. I was going to make a joke about Mary being tall, but I was warned again I'd be taking my life into my own hands if I did, so I'm just going to back away from it. Now, I'd like to talk about Nicola. Nicola is usually quite quiet and keeps herself to herself. Some will, mainly Logan, say that's a good thing. Me, however, I think that's a shame. As if she did talk more, we'd actually know how to properly pronounce her last name. And we wouldn't have to resort to calling her dishwasher. Speaking of quiet people, it's nice to see Alan Dobie actually turn up tonight. Usually on nights like this, she's basically just a shit version of Steve's taxis. Except when you get into Steve's car, you don't have to pray that you'll get to your destination and still be in one piece. Lastly, we get to Ava. I really had trouble thinking of what to say with Ava, mainly because she's calmed down this past year. If you saw how much she's calmed down from last year, you would think she'd become a nun. But no, she hasn't found God. She's just found some poor, skinny, ginger boy. Honestly, good luck. I think that's me covered everyone that I'm allowed to anyways for tonight. But before I finish, I just want to say I don't actually mean what I said. Well, except for all the stuff about the head team, all that was just personal. Seriously, Elaine, I'd be keeping an eye on Zoe. She's mental, right? But other than that, they were just jokes. You all look lovely, and school wouldn't be half as fun without you lot. And anyways, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get my comeuppance with Jessica's reply to the laddies anyways. I'm going to go now and pray that tomorrow I'm going to wake up and still have friends. But before I do, thank you all for listening. I hope you have a wonderful evening. So lads, if you're able to, can you please be upstanding and join me in the toast? Cheers.